Good Voch Rabbi Sai. Leilul Nishma Simim Rosi Rismas Mordechai. Hey, Rebelli. Shkoyach all the guests. Shalom Aleichem. What a daf today. It's going to be one of those famous ones. Kesubos Raglim Lefnei Akala. Attached, please, find my 8-year-old daughter, Rachel, with her best rebellion impression. I joined this year when we started Sukkah, and I've been on train since. I was at the Simcha Bellworks, but didn't get the chance to say hello in person. I simply want to say thank you. Thanks so much for all the effort that you and your entire family put into helping Klal Yisrael learn Torah. Thank you for keeping it light, fun, geschmack, and enjoyable. You and your wife are truly has the lives of thousands. My 11-year-old son joined me at the Siyum simply because I want him to experience an event we could feel how special Liman Torah is. As much as going to a Yankees game is fun, the experience, energy, and kedusha that we experienced at the scene was really an incredible experience. Thank you for helping create the atmosphere. That atmosphere. May Hashem continue to bless you and your family with much bracha and Hatzlacha. Looking forward to hopefully meeting you in person sooner than later. Sincerely, Mickey Cooper, Edison, New Jersey. Here we go. Okay. So Rosenfeld, dear Belly, I really enjoy watching your amazing share. Please see attached video. My kids doing good morning, Rabbi Sai.
2, go.
Good morning, Rabbi Sai.
Never gets old. The Pischei Tshuva is in Simin Kuf Tazayin. Shuv Reisi b'Sodas L'Mincha. The Mishnah is L'Hachmer. If you want to be noyeg, lahachmir, in a klisheni, you say, no, klisheni is not good for me. I need a klishlishi revi. Have kimoy apikorsus. V'yotzas char be'efseidoi. That's what I was looking for. Okay, Ariel Elitov. And here, 3 generations doing the daf in Antwerp, Belgium. Good Shabbos, family Egelstein. Gevaldik. 3 generations. The Koilel this month is sponsored Leilul Nishmas Zecharia Moshe. The Mesechta is sponsored Leilul Nishmas Moshe Loza Benot Shalom and Leilul Nishmas is Borch Ben Moshe Aaron, and for that Hatzlacha B'chol Yanim for my children. The Mesechta, the second sponsor, Jeff Rosner, zchus my son Yosef Simcha Chaim Ben Tzor Chana Refuah Shlaima. Parents of Chodesh by the Lock and Lebovic family in Lakewood NJ because Torah only he's allowed to say. It's the best segula. Paras HaChodesh has zchus for our children to be kadosh, safe, healthy, happy, and know Hashem loves them.
I'm not like it, I know what you're talking about.
Paras HaChodesh number 3, Shragi Chafetz RL149. As a zchus for my family, myself, and for the Tzaddikim of RL Hatzalah. Paras HaShavua, Akilov family, Leilul Nishmat Elio ben Bakamal Akilov. Paras HaYomi. I should be zoicha to nachas the kedusha and tremendous success in my new business because Torah is the best segula. And Parnas Hayoim number 2 is Zecharia Steinberg. Hatzlacha in your ruchnis and gashmias. I don't know who he's talking to, but whoever it is, you should be zoicha to ruchnis and gashmias. Okay. Our boy says it's one of those dapim, one of those famous dapim. Daf Yud Zayin. We are all the way in the bottom, Tes Zayin Amud Beis. Torah Rabbanon. Keitzad miraktin. Now, it's the 3 weeks, so typically we would burst out in singing here, but because we're at Tzibor, I sang it to myself today on Shabbos, and now you're just going to have to play it in your head. Keitzad miraktin l'fnei hakala. How do you dance in front of the kala? Says Rashi, what words do you say? It's not so much the dance, as much as the words that you say to her. B'shama yoimrim, kala kamoy shehi. Every kala, based on her beauty. Oh, I did not. Who do we have? We have Dr. Shamroth. Shalom Aleichem. Over here. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Shol Gross from New York. Shalom Aleichem. And? You're also there. No. Kimat. You are. So what are you guys doing here? Confusing me. Wow. Givaldik. Okay. And you are Dovi Friedman? From Queens. Shalom Aleichem, Dovi. Who else? Oh. What's your name? Dan Rosenberg from? Wow, Boca's huge. There's a lot of Boca guys. You got to go to Boca. MDY has to fly us in. Boca. Okay, Givaldik. It's a big. You're part of the Chabura there. There's a whole. Who was just here a week ago? This. Who? Oh, Josh Brody. That's right. Oh, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Oh, Ronnie Sterling. Where do you live, Ronnie?
Silver Spring, Maryland.
That's right, Silver Spring, Maryland. I just saw you in New York.
I saw
Yeah.
you in Baltimore and I saw you in Belvoir.
That's what it was. Yeah. Mom is confused. Okay, can we go? Who else? Victor Fold. He's a regular. Shalom, Victor. Okay, all the way. What's the name of the place you live at? Karnei Shomron. How long? No, but you were here for Shabbos. Yeah, it doesn't count. All right, let's learn Torah. Every kala, you describe her beauty. It's very interesting. Whatever mila she has. So we still oimrim kala no v'chasuda. So the kala chasuda, she has a special chain, a chut chesed. What's very interesting is that we're talking about certain things that you're supposed to do to show whether a kala is a psula, a ba'ula, and you do this, and she goes out with the hinuma, and then you say kala no v'chasuda. If you look at it, kala is 55, right? Kuf lamed 55. No is 56. Chasuda total 200. So remez, a gematria. She's a psula, she gets 200. You say in front of her, so you make this dance. Kala no v'chasuda. Stam, it's a alpi soid. Yeah, thank you. Go to sleep up there. What do you mean if she is a lame person or blind? What if she doesn't have a special chain? So what's the problem? You always have to be careful from saying a lie, even if it makes the chassan feel good. So a guy sent me an email here. Let me see if I have it. Oh, from Dovi. According to Bishamai, and you come to a wedding, the kala isn't really no v'chasuda. What do you sing? He says, oh yo 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 yum. That's what you sing for a kala. That's what your time is. Okay, go to that one. Akoponim, the oyoy. So if somebody buys something that he can't return, so what do you say to him? You tell him the truth. What a beat up car! It's gonna have to be in the shop all the time. You say, "Wow, you got a good deal. It's gonna be cheap on gas." You know. Says Rashi that you should always tell people what they want to hear, what's good for them to hear. So in Mela, it's a very good idea to always make sure that every day you find at least one person and you tell them something, you give them a compliment, you give them a good word, because you don't know what that good word might mean to them. Yeah, what? No. Do not be nice to your spouse. I was the chas v'shalom. I never said that. Now, because of you, they're going to take me off of YouTube. I'm saying be nice to your friends. What's wrong with you? Wow. Don't put words in my mouth. No, your spouse, you have to be nice to every day. I'm saying in addition, people you don't want to be nice to. Call those people you don't want to be nice to. Move on? Okay, we'll move on. I told you that time this is way back. There was a kid that came to the shir and he said a good vart in shir. So I called up his mother and I left. She didn't pick up. She was a divorcee. So I left her a message. I said, your son, mama, she's Talmid Chacham. He's such a nice vart. And like weeks later, somebody told me, she's walking around with back in the day, it was like you played it on a tape. You had an answering machine. She's showing people the message. Like people could take your words. It was back in the day when I only had 5 guys in the shir. It wasn't like, Rebel, he said something. No, it was like this shaita from Lakewood. No, you say a good word, huh? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Zog the Gemara. you should be me'urev in abrios. Loyal te daide shalom or reves in abrios. Ki osar avdimi omar hachu mishoru kami kalsa b'marova. Loikechal. This is what they used to sing in front of the kala. Loikechal. She doesn't need any makeup and she's beautiful without the makeup. Loikechal, not the eye makeup. Loy sirak, not the blush. Veloy pirko. She doesn't even have to do her hair. V'yalas chen, and she's beautiful. Ki samchor rabbanon Reb Zera. Very interesting. When they gave smicha to Reb Zera, they said the exact same words. He doesn't need makeup, and he's a great imam, and she's beautiful. Shorley, hachi. That was a song. Loy kachal, veloy sirak, veloy pirkos, v'yalas chen. What's the pshat? The Reb Zera, even though he didn't wear such beautiful clothing, his pnimius shine. Ki samchor rabbanon Reb Amiv Reb Basi shorley hachi. Kol min dein v'chol min dein smoichel ana. They sang to him, Halavai, more people like you, Reb Amiv Reb Basi, should have smicha, leitismchu lana, loy min sar misin v'loy min sar mitin. So they gave him like some sort of rhyme. Don't give us the people that distort the Torah, and don't give us the people that are rags. A rag is like full of holes. He's whole. He has a hole, a beged, a shalom. These kind of people we want as Talmid Chachamim. V'amri lo loy min chamisin v'loy min turmisin. So chamisin, Rashi says, is somebody that only gives 1/5 of the reason. If you look in Ois Tes, in the Masaris Hashas, some people have it Ois Hey, he brings the Aruch, and this is, the Yeshiva Bachar are not going to like this at all. It says, Chamisin, Sheshoinim Chumsho Shal Mesechta. They learn 1/5 of Mesechta. Halavai, Yeshiva guys is 1/5 of Mesechta. Okay, whatever. 5 daf in the Mesechta, but they're called Chamisin. Don't give us any Chamisin guys. We want people that know a lot of Torah. What's Turmisin? So Turmisin is a type of a bean. Here it is on the screen if you want. That guy went to sleep with it. Turmisin. But Rashi says, I don't know what shaykhis. What does it have to do with over here? Don't give us a bean. Okay. Rebbe Avo, ki have osi mi mesifta lebei Kaisar. Rebbe Avo, when we would come from yeshiva to the house of the Caesar, nafka amosa lebei Kaisar la'ape umshayin lei. The servants would come out and they sing to him. Hachi. Rabbi Dame, the leader of the nation, umedabarna du umsei. That's more of a leader. Rabba is more of a nasi. Butzina denahira. Yes, he lights up the world. Baruch Masyoch l'shalom, like Baruch Bayecha l'shalom. Amr Allah Rabbi Yehuda Bar Eloi. Listen to these words. Shohayonoitel bachel das umeraki lifnei akala. So first of all, I have a dasim here. This is not for now, but what? Who? Yeah. Yeah, so this is a das, mamish straight off the tree. I said, yeah, I know, I bracha, but it doesn't smell real. No, it's fine. So nachamal. One of these So somebody sent me a video of his kid, and maybe we should lower the volume, but here it is. You ready? Let's see if we can get to it. Oh. Lower the volume. But it's interesting that they say these words. When there's a song, maybe play it in a second just for the words. Not now. I'll tell you when. This is the Hadas dance. Somebody that can dance.
How do they learn it? They're doing it wrong.
There's no chassan there either. You see a chassan? Where's the chassan? Ah. Okay, now put it on. Let's see if we can hear the words. Hadash Shilmrakid. Nifnai Hakalu. Okay, fine, we got it. That's the song. There's a song. Okay, Voimer, Kala Nu V'Chasido. Zok the Gemara. Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchok, Mirakid Atlas. Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak would take 3 of these. Now, it's impossible for me. I could juggle 3 balls. I cannot juggle 3 hadassim. I don't think it's possible. I will try, because maybe that Baruch Boiri Atzib Samim. It's not even going to go once. But I'll do it just to make a fool out of myself. And that's basically what they called him. They called him a little bit, they said he's a shaita. We'll see the Gemara in a second, but I have to stand up for this. It's embarrassing. It's going to fly everywhere. Yeah. Not even once, huh? You're going to do the one with the... What, Yosef, why do you have to make me look bad? Let's talk about it right now, here. It's always the worst ones, like... That doesn't... I ruined... Now you don't know what to do, okay? It's going to be a whole 3 of them. Okay. It's never me smiling. It's always like... Okay, fine. Do not, please. And he's like, if it looks weird, more clicks. No, it's not. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Trust me, it doesn't work. But listen to this amazing Gemara. I love this Gemara. Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak Meraket at last. It's not recording for real? No, for real. Talking China. Oh, Reb Zero. Listen to this. Says Reb Zero, Komachsif lon saba. This elderly is embarrassing us. Look what he's doing. He takes our dasa and makes a fool out of us. Tamid Chachamim. Says the Gemara, unbelievable. Kinoach nafshei. When Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak was nifter, ifsak amuda de nura bein didei likula alma. There was a fire. There was a pillar of fire that separated his body from everybody else. Ugemiri, and we know from tradition, this only happens to 1 or 2 people per generation. In other words, the Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak was a great man. Now, I might have said this recently, but Reb Shalom told Reb Baruch Ber that the Chavetz Chaim, he asked him about the Chavetz Chaim, so he said that when the Chavetz Chaim was a young kid, a youngster, he snuck into the shul. Reb Nechemke, what was his name? Reb Nechemke, thank you. Reb Nechemke used to go into the shul on Chatzos. The Gabbai used to check the whole shul to make sure nobody's there, lock the doors. Reb Nechemke would go there and do whatever he had to do during Tikkun Chatzos. The Chavetz Chaim, as a child or something like that, hid in a place where the Gabbai couldn't find him. And he came out and he watched Reb Nechemke, and he saw Reb Nechemke go to the bima, and there was a little light there, and he looked inside. There was a sack full of shemus, and he went into the sack and he pulled something out, and he started reading out loud, and he saw a fire. The Chavetz Chaim got really scared. He saw a fire come out, and Reb Baruch Ber said that Reb Nechemke had a fire that I know. But that the Chavetz Chaim was able to see it at such a young age, that was a pella. And I was just thinking about it here. Also, this Amud Aleph doesn't mean that the whole world saw a fire come out. Those who were zoicha were zoicha. The Ramak said that whoever sees something interesting at his levaya, he's the one that's mamshich. So there was a kid. The Arizal was speaking to this kid, and the kid said, the Arizal asked him, "Did you see something?" And he said, "Yeah, I saw a fire over his mita." So he said, "I want to learn with you tomorrow." So the kid came, and the Arizal told the kid, "Say Rasha." Those words, "Say Rasha, get out of here. You're a bad kid. You're a bad person. You saw it from Ruach HaTum or something." But they say that's the Arizal was like to see the fire, and he was the mamshich of the Marak. But anyway, this Amud Aleph. But look at this. Look what it says here. These hadassim helped the elder. It was the hadassim that gave him that gadlus that there's Amud Aleph. Says Tosfos. How did Reb Zera know? Maybe it was something else. Maybe he learned Torah. Says Tosfos, because the Amud Aleph this fire was in the shape of a hadas. So Reb Zeir realized right away that he made the mistake. He shouldn't have told, what was his name again? Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak. Yeah, Rav Shmuel bar Rav Yitzchak. He said, you're embarrassing us. Reb Zeir told Rav Shmuel, you're embarrassing us. No, it's those adasim that he embarrassed himself with. That's what gave him the godless. How do you know that? Because it looked like a hadas, the fire. He made himself a fool. By him making himself a fool, that's what gave him godless. His shita, his minhag. You see here a tremendous aside that we see this all over. People grab a certain mitzvah, a certain thing, it becomes their mitzvah, and they go all the way, they go all out with it, even if it embarrasses them, they become embarrassed through it. It's that mitzvah, and Achaz Kala, we're going to see soon, Achaz Kala, the Beis HaMeis, from the greatest mitzvahs. Mitzvahs that you're mevatel Torah for. If a person takes that mitzvah, his thing, there's a guy that he's related to some of the people in the shir, Tzubeli, I forgot his first name. He has a thing, every chassan he goes, he bounces, brooms on his nose, that's his thing, he's known. Cheer, broom, whatever. So, I'm not saying, and fakert, you're not supposed to imitate. You're not supposed to take now, I want to be like Rav Yitzchak bar Shmuel, I'm going to Rav Shmuel bar Yitzchak, and I'm going to take adasim, I'm going to juggle adasim. Everybody has to be their own individual mitzvah. So chap a mitzvah, make it your mitzvah. But from that one little mitzvah, you hear what's going on here, that one little mitzvah, you think it's a nothing, and that's what separated him from the rest of his generation. Only one or two people in the entire generation get this Amud Aleph. How? From this mitzvah of Adasim. Everybody chap your mitzvah. Zok the Gemara. Rav Acha Markivlo a kasvei umerakid. I have to tell you, from the entire Masechtas Kesubos, this is the only line that I remember as a bacher, right here. Rav Acha took the kala and put her on his shoulder. I'm not kidding. Amri le Rabbanon anau ma'u lemevedachi. What about us? Can we also take the kala and put her on our shoulders? Oh, this is the line. Idamya laichu kikshura lechai. If you could imagine the kala in your mind like a piece of wood, then yes. If not, don't even think about it. You see that there's a special inyan with a kala, as we'll see from the sugya, something different than the regular Eishesish. But it's interesting. If you're on that high level that this person is like a beam, okay, then you can do it. V'loi, loi. So, with not getting into any controversy, of course, but just to give the perspective of the Litvak, what about mitzvah? They bring it here on the sugya. So there's a Pischei Tshuva that says, and I'm just showing the Litvish side, not the Hasidish side. Ayin b'sefer Torah Chaim says the Pischei Tshuva. B'mesechus avodas zara daf yud zayin v'nir da also lechas b'mochel l'makala b'shivisi mi'amishta afilu ene oiches b'yada mamash. Even if you're not holding your hand, elo behevsik mit pachas, with some sort of gartel kederach shenoigem mixas tamid chacham shebedar zeh, like the minhag is afilu hachi lav shaper avde. They're not doing the right thing. The mashma hacha the shum kriva ba'alma asur. You're not allowed to be close to her at all. Vein lechalik vein kala lacheres. You can't make a nafkamina distinction between a kala and a regular eishesish. The leka idna, because no one in our generation man the matzle meima the dami alayu kishura. Nobody could say that the kala is like a piece of wood today. Nobody in our generation. Chacham said, how do you dance in front of? Veloy im, and not with, together with. This is the Pischei Tshuva. Hashas, the Gemara also says, Bereish Perek Beis, the Kesubos, that's what we're learning today. The asal is stakel b'fnei kala. You're not allowed to look at her even. Kol shiva, kamosh asal is stakel b'shacheret. Just not like you're not allowed to look at Eishesish, you're not allowed to look at a kala. V'oisim b'nei b'liyal, these terrible people, ha'olchim b'machal im ba'almo, they do a mitzvah dance. This is the famous Pischei Tshuva on the mitzvah dance. V'roi liger b'hem, you're supposed to scream at them. The Shulchan Elazar says, he asked, based on this, how do we do a mitzvah dance? So he says, maybe the Pischei Tshuva is talking about that they put a like a rag between their hands. It doesn't mean that's a long string, and maybe that's why it's okay. The Divrei Torah says, I saw the Rebbe from Shenova, that he used to do a tremendous avodah, and he used to dance in front of the kala, but he wouldn't use a gartel, because it says lifnei hakala, not im hakala. The Ber Moshe says that in our generation we have to be machmir, not to use any kind of even a gartel. But the father of the kala is allowed to dance with the kala and hold her hands, and he says, not the grandfather. The grandfather should not hold the kala's hands. Anyways, I know that the Hasidim are going to send me a lot of emails, and I'm looking forward to them. All the Mekoros. No, seriously. I'm just saying, again, I don't know the other side very well. I'm just explaining. I know that they're very upset. They get very upset and nervous when you don't do a mitzvah tans. My brother-in-law, my niece got married to somebody that in his family, and they're from Switzerland, they have like the Heimish, like, you're not going to do a mitzvah tans. Like the chasen is off. It's like a big ikr by them. So obviously they have no water here. Okay. Shkoyach. So no, Refuah Shlaima to Avi Gargir. He fell here on Friday while he was working he almost broke his ankle. He's in a cast of some sort. So Refuah Shlaima. Yeah. Here, Avi Gargir, a person who's not so much, but you could be the coffee guy, the coffee man. You go to the Olam Haba, giving coffee to every single guest and this and that. You know what I mean? This is Shkoyach. All right. Omer Rabbi Shmuel ben Nachmani, Omer Rabbi Yonason. Mutar listakel b'fnei hakala kol shiva, kedei lechabev ha'bayla. Unbelievable. Like what? That's what Rabbi Yonason says. You're allowed to stare at the kala in order to put that love into the chasen. As Rashi says, kisharoya hakol mistaklim bo, when he sees that everybody's staring at her, nichnas yofya beliboy, then he thinks to himself, wow, I got a good one. V'leis hilchas hakavasei, it's also to look at the kala. So the Rishonim say, if it's also to look at the kala, so how do we have people that testify that she deserves 200 zuz because she went with the inuma? They saw her, they looked at her, all these people looked at her, look at her. So the Rishonim answered that they saw the hat, they saw the inuma, but they didn't look at her face. And then, of course, the famous teretz of, I think it's the Rabbi Yoina and other, there's a difference between a staklus and riyah. There's a quick glance and there's steering. The Gemara is talking about steering and looking, that's also. A quick glance and you look away, that, according to some, that itself is a shaila, but maybe that's what the Gemara is talking about. Says the Gemara, so it goes like this. Who's first? King is first. So if you bump into a king, your whole procession of the chasana bumps into the king, you have to move to the side. Second in line is the kala. If there's a funeral, and the procession of the kala, chas kala, the funeral goes to the side. So it's king, kala, the dead. Some want to say, and it's not so clear, that when it comes to giving money, let's say, to kala also comes before the mace. There was a kala that came towards him, so he broke the rule, and he gave her the covet, and he went off the path. Chacham said he did beautiful. Says Gemara, if they praised him, so that means he did the right thing. Even the head of the nation, in terms of Torah, the Nasi, if he decides to give up his kavod, we allow it. A king is not allowed to. The double lashon. There's a lot of simai, says Rashi, and it comes to tell us that you must protect the honor of Klal Yisrael as a king. You yourself have to honor yourself and don't put yourself down. Don't move to the side. One pshat that I saw is Soim Tasim, a double lashon, Alecha Melech, is that La'as Lavai. In time of Mashiach, there's going to be two kings, the Malchi David and Malchi Yehuda. Your fear should be on the king. Says the Gemara, you know why he went off the... There was a fork in the road, so it was very hard to notice. There was a turn, whatever. He went off that way. They thought that's where he was going anyway. But it was to give cover to the Kala. Again, here you see the idea that Talmud Torah is top. However, when it comes to a levaya and achnas kala, you stop learning. You go out for the maze and you do achnas kala. By the way, we know it's a terrible thing to go to chasana and not give simcha. So what is this achnas kala exactly? So I saw from the Ezra Kodesh says, if you get a bracha under the chuppah, that you gave him simcha. If you're a very chashav person and you go to the chasana, let's say you come from out of town, you this, that itself is simcha. If you give the chasana and kala a cup of water in the middle of the dance, give them food, that's, and if you give them a good joke, or you go over, you say a good word, you say, wow, unbelievable, I know the mishpacha, what a great kala, that's also part of simchas chasana and kala. Now the Gemara is talking about only one of the two things that we just mentioned. We're not talking about a kala anymore. We're talking about only a mace. When this funeral doesn't have enough people. But if it has enough people, then you don't stop learning Torah. What does it mean? In the name of Rav, if it has 12,000 people at the funeral, then you don't go. And 6,000 on the trumpets, announcing the kids are 18,000 people. Anything less, you have to stop learning Torah. Law, it says in the Sider that not Gers 13, you Gers Tresar 12, like the Gemara before, Tresar Alpha Gavri, 12,000. It's not 12 plus 6,000 shofros, it's from the 12 to 6, so it's a total of 12,000. From the gate of the city, that's how many people, all the way to the cemetery. It's a lot of people. The giving of the Torah was 600,000 men. So when you take away the Torah by Adam Gadol, it's 600,000 people. So you need a funeral. So let me ask you, Shaila. Rebbe Yosef's funeral, they say had over 1 million people. So you don't have to go to the funeral? Because it says over here, 600,000. The answer is no. Of course you have to go. Why? So it says like this. That's the hemshech of the Gemara. 600,000 is for a person that learns Daf Yomi. A person that learns Chumash, learns Mishnayos. But the one who gives a shir, like Rebbe Yosef, less than shir, you have to go to his funeral, even if there's 1 million people. So Rashi says, it's a very interesting Rashi here on the top. Leslie Shiura says Rashi, we see from here, the man and Amaretz that doesn't learn Chumash and doesn't learn Mishnayos, ein mevatlim. You don't stop learning Torah for that guy. Is asking as long as he has 3-4 people that are going to bury him, you don't go to his levaya. It's Niyalamaisa. Sometimes you have somebody's not affiliated or whatever, so you think you're doing a big mitzvah going to his levaya instead of doing the daf. You shouldn't, says Rashi. Right. If you're batal anyway, if you're playing basketball instead of playing basketball, you go to his levaya. I hear. No, he just told me he just played basketball. So no, that's good. Basketball is not bittul. It's for the body. It's good. You have to keep in shape. Each person, I'm just saying, again, I'm not a Rav. I'm not passing whose levaya to go to. I'm bringing things up. So next time, think about when you start go to a levaya of Amaret, or you go, or not going to a levaya of a gadol, like Rav Shteiman was nifter, and a lot of us didn't go because we couldn't get in there, whatever. These kind of things, halacha. However, they say that in our days, when this is the halacha, there's so many different Chaver Kadishas that take care of different groups of people. The Belzers have there, and the Yushalmis, and this. So you're not mechuyev to go to those levayas. You don't go, otherwise you'll be busy all day long going to people's funerals. Oh, sponsor. Oh, I forgot again. Sponsored, remind me please, put it in the thing. Sponsored by Moshe Horn, in honor of Rabbi Tzvi Medetsky, the only Rebbe that was actually good at basketball. And Yankel Cohen, the official MDY, MSP. And sponsored, whatever. It's not so important. In honor of me, that I was not such a great basketball player. He also played with me. This is not even... Yeah, and how was I back then?
You were actually very good.
I was pretty good. But who's the maven? Who's the maven here?
I was decent.
You were decent. He said, okay, turning on the daf. Hudi Newman, in honor of Rebelli, the real greatest Jewish basketball player who ever lived. Better than the guy that made it to the NBA or whatever. Okay. What is this inuma? Surchav bar papa mishmei deziri omar tanuro de asa. I have a little bit of a picture here, something like this. This is you take adasim and you make it in a, and it's not really this. You make it in the shape of a tanur where it's, oh, that's something else. Hold on, we'll get there in a second. This is a special hat that the kala could fall asleep because nobody can see that her eyes are closed. This is the best picture I was able to come up with. Okay. It's not mamish this. If you were... Huh? This is a special hat, yeah. You know who took the picture. Not a MAGA person, obviously. Oh, look at this Russia. He's not even wearing his mask on the plane. Aye. You ever notice? Okay, whatever. If you go a lot to the airport, there's a certain type of person. They happen to be Jewish and they happen to have beards. And they always wear the mask. The whole airport is wearing it like this. They wear it on their beard. You ever notice? I don't know if you've ever been to the airport. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay. Huh? No, it's like the chefs in the restaurants. They have to wear something on their beard. Kids, this guy wears... Why are you closing your eyes, Avi? You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Avi knows what I'm talking about. Okay. Making a macha. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika Omer. Rabbi Yochanan ben Broika says that if you throw this dry wheat that gets stuck in people's strimals at the chasen, it's a raya that the woman he married is a psula. Tana b'Yehuda raya. These are great rayas in Yehuda. What do you do outside of Eretz Yisrael? Omarav darduge de mishcha areisha de rabbanan. I'm telling you, there's things here in these gemaras that really throw us for a loop. We have no idea what's going on. It's just not... Anybody that did something like this today in our generation, they put them in cherem, they would kick their kids out of school in a second. If a woman takes oil and rubs it into the men's hair, it is oivavoy. I don't know how they did it. I don't understand pshat. Hanoshim noisnin shemen beroishet talmidim b'shafos. They scrub it in like shampoo into the hair. Gishmaka oil. You ever put oil in your hair? It's good stuff. Go home and try it out. And tell me how it is, because I will never do it. So Rapapa says, oh, you're talking about this shampoo stuff? Yasma. You're mamish like an orphan. I could tell you never had this. Your mother didn't do it at your chasana. What's wrong with you? There's somebody did this shidduch with Rav Barula's son. Ramirlah, no, it was the opposite. Rav Barula asked Rabbanon. It was the. I'm sorry. It was the son of the Talmud Chacham had a shidduch with the daughter of Rav Barula, or was the son of Rav Barula with the Talmud Chacham's daughter? And the women, they put the oil into the Talmid Chacham's heads. B'shas ma'isa. What? Like a? No. To Talmidim it says here. To other people. Didn't do it, not to you. At your wedding, she didn't do it to the other people.
The Hasidim are going to bring this raya for this use the garta.
I'm saying if your head is somewhere else, if your head is in a different place, then everything makes sense here. But we can't relate to this. We're frummer than them. Says the Gemara, Amaltamai. And what about an almana? What's her siman at her wedding? Tani Rav Yosef again. Almana here means a grusha, almana. Tani Rav Yosef, Amalta lesla kisani. You're very makbid not to throw any dried wheat. As soon as you see the dry wheat, it means that she was never married before. Oh. So now we're going back a little bit out of the Agata. We had in the Mishnah that if a person comes over to another person, the idea of hapesha asar hapesha yitir. A guy comes over to somebody else and says, listen, good news and bad news. Your father owns 17 nursing homes. The bad news is he sold them all to me last year for $10. Hapesha asar hapesha yitir. Since the kid didn't know about his father's ownership of those nursing homes, so the person who introduced the idea, he has the right to say whatever he wants. And one of the things he's saying is, you don't own it anymore. In other words, shor shachad lefanecha. There is no shor shachad. There's no shechted ox. There's no raya that they owned any nursing homes. He's introducing it for the first time. So anytime there's ain't shor shachad lefanecha, you could say, hapesh asar, hapesh yitir. So Gemara is just going to say, but why doesn't the Mishnah say a better case? I bought a field from you. Says the Gemara, you don't know about it, you don't remember about it. I'm sitting in this field, I'm plowing and producing from this field for 10 years. You didn't say a word. So I'm going to come to you and remind you, oh, by the way, you used to own this and I bought it from you. Says the Gemara, okay, it's a decent, it's actually better, not as complicated as the case the Mishnah brings. It's it's straightforward. You and me. It was one-on-one. Me and you, I bought it from you. Instead of saying, I bought it from your father. However, so there's the second part of that part of the Mishnah is that if there's Eidim, in other words, there's a shor shachot, the Eidim come along and say, listen, your father owns 17 nursing homes, so now the guy doesn't have a right to explain that he bought it from the father, because the Eidim are introducing the idea, not that man, not the owner. Says the Gemara, Echidami. So this is a Shas Katan alert now. This is going back to the famous concept in Bava Basra of Cheskas Shalish Shanim. If a person controls real estate for 3 years, it's a raya, it's his. Because if not, if it wasn't his, where's the owner? How come the owner doesn't come? Now, the owner, he has a shtar. But after 3 years, he doesn't have to have a shtar. So the guy's going to say, I own it, I bought it from you, I had a shtar, got lost. Varaya, I'm here in the field for 3 years. I don't have to hold my shtar for more than 3 years. Says the Gemara, what's going on here? What's the case? If the guy that's telling us for the very first time that the father owned these nursing homes, if he had these nursing homes for 3 years, of course he's believed. If he, let's say, he's holding on to them only for 2 years, why is that? How could he own something without a shtar? Only 2 years of chazaka. Says Gemara, and therefore it doesn't work in the case where he says to the guy, I bought it from you. You bought it from me. How long are you in there? For 2 years. So give it back to me. 3 years? Okay, so that's in Bava Basra. It says if you hold it for 3 years, it's enough. So what's the chiddush here? So it doesn't work in that case that I bought it from you. It only works in the case of when I bought it from a father. Why? Says Gemara, the same question. If he bought it from the father, and after he bought it from the father, he's there for 3 years. He had 3 years of chazaka, that's enough. And if it's only for 2 years, it's not good enough. Same problem that I have with you, I have with your father. Says the Gemara, no. The Gemara says, because you're dividing the years of chazaka. 2 by the father, then the father died, then the kid was alive. The kid is alive, obviously, but he was a katan. And I did Even if this youngster became an adult, that's not considered a chazaka. So what's Rav Huna coming to say over here? He's just repeating what the Mishnah is saying, really. So he's saying the diuk that you see from here, that we're talking about a situation where it's 2 years, the father 1 year, the kid. And then the second thing he's trying to say, or this is the main chiddush, is that even if this kid who's 12 years old at the time that his father passed away, but now he's 15, that's not a chazaka. Says Gemara, listen to the but still, let's say that the guy introduced an idea. He says, look, I bought this field from you. Not from your father, from you. But here's the chiddush. I sat in this nursing home for 2 years. How come the 3rd year doesn't count? Because the original owner ran away. He ran away, he's not here. And that's not a chazaka. In order for me to make a chazaka and say, prove that the fact that I was in this nursing home for 3 years straight, it's mine, is when the original owner was around and he could have made a macha. He could have protested me sitting in the nursing home. But since he ran away, he couldn't protest. So that's not a good chazaka. Says Gemara, but what happened exactly? Let's figure this out. Baruch machmas mai. Why did he run away? Id baruch machmas nefashos. He's scared for his life. In other words, he got in trouble with the government, and the government is looking to hang him. Let's say he made fun of the priest over there. Who knows what? So he had to run for his life. So there's no way for him to make a macha. Because if he makes a macha, guess what? He ran away. He's in Australia now, and he's going to make a macha from Australia. They're coming to Australia and kill him. Now he's giving up his hiding spot. So he can't protest. So therefore, your chazaka, you sitting in his nursing home after he ran away, is not a chachma. Of course, he's not going to protest. He can't make a macha. And if he just ran away because he didn't want to pay somebody a loan or something, so it's not good enough that he ran away. He should have made a macha, because the halacha is, you hear, shas kata. Macha shalei b'fanav. If I protest and I say, that guy sitting in the nursing home, he's stealing from me, have a macha. It's enough. Why is it enough? Because eventually it's going to travel all the way back to Ramat Bet Shemesh, and I'm going to hear about it. So it's a good macha. This nan, sholish harotzes l'chazaka. You could divide Eretz Yisrael into 3, and that's how we do a chazaka. Yehuda ve'ever, I'm finishing, Gershon, I'm finishing. Hold on. Here. Yehuda ve'ever. This is a little bit not so clear, this picture, but it's very interesting because here in Eretz Yisrael, we read, I wanted to say the story. A Maisa Shahaya 2 weeks ago, a woman showed up a week late for somebody from this neighborhood. She showed up a week late to her nephew's bar mitzvah because she asked her sister, when's the bar mitzvah? She said, Parshas Pinchas. So she showed up last week. Like, what are you doing here? I'm here for the bar mitzvah. No, that was last week. You know what I'm saying? Is like, she was going back. She didn't say the date. She said the parish. She's going Leilul Torah. But anyway, today's parasha, Matas in Eretz Yisrael. Did they catch up yet? Not yet. Next week. Oh, Matas, yeah. So they'll read it next week. They're talking about Ever Yarden, Gad, B'nai Gad, going Ever Yarden. Here it is. The Gemara talks about Ever Yarden. This line that goes down the middle with the water up the thing, that's the Jordan River. So on the other side is Ever Yarden. That's one part. The other part is the top. It says Galil, and on the bottom it says Yehuda. So these are 3 parts of Eretz Yisrael. Let's say the owner was taking vacation in Yerushalayim, and the guy grabbed his field in the Galil, in Galil. Or the reverse, he was on vacation in Galil. So the guy ran into his hotel in Yerushalayim and grabbed onto it. And a chazaka. That's not a chazaka. He has to be in the same Medina. Now what's a Medina? Medina is not the entire Israel. Medina, you have to split it up into 3. There's 3 sections here. And we asked over there, what does he hold? If he holds that I don't have to be in front of him, it's still macha. So separate Eretz Yisrael into 2. Gal and Yehuda. What's the difference? I could be anywhere in Eretz Yisrael. I'll say the word macha, and it's going to travel to him eventually. Because and if you hold that it's not enough, So what? So I'm in Bet Shemesh and he's in Yerushalayim. It's in the same area, but I'm far away from him. Why is that a good mecha? Why do I have to be all in the Galil, all the way here? Just in different cities, it's enough not to be a good mecha. No, the halacha is that I don't have to be there. I can be far away and I make a mecha, and that's enough for the guy to find out about it. And if I didn't protest, then he gets to eat it and use it, and it's his. There was a war, there's something going on, and people couldn't go. The train stopped, everything stopped. And why did he use the lashon Yud v'Galil? So if the train stops, so it's anywhere. It's from Bet Shemesh to Yerushalayim also. The stam Yud v'Galil, kishas chirum damu. Stam. It's a mashal of two places that you don't have shayaros mitzuyas. You don't have the constant traffic from one to the other. Yud v'Galil, even in time of peace, they didn't have good traffic, and that was just a mashal of a place that the mechad does not work. And therefore, the guy making the chazaka cannot grab it. Have a wonderful evening, week, year. Yishkoyach for coming, all the guests. A good Voch.